most elaborate revenge plan someone organized from their deathbed. 3 days after Grandpa died, my parents arrived at my door with flowers and a business proposal. They wanted guardianship of my unborn baby. Turns out, Grandpa had left behind a trust fund that paid $100,000 a year to whoever raised his great-grandchildren. My parents were claiming if I gave guardianship to them, we could all have access to it. It's a win-win. They smiled sweetly. They left after I told them I needed time to think. They waited exactly 3 days before going nuclear. I was making breakfast when Mom called crying. The cancer is back at stage 4. Treatment is $80,000 a year and insurance won't cover it. 2 hours later, Annika showed up at my house. She snuck in using the spare key and put her hands on my belly before I could react. I had to go through 7 years of pain, she whispered, her fingers spreading across my skin like she was claiming territory. 7 years of needles and failure and empty cribs. She swore that with a trust fund, she would give my baby everything I was stressed about. Private schools, college funds, a big backyard to play in. The baby kicked, and I wondered if I was being selfish by keeping her. When you've been trained since birth to put family first, setting boundaries feels like betrayal. The breaking point came when Mom sent a photo of herself in a hospital bed with an IV in her arm. Starting chemo tomorrow, the caption read, I wish I could afford the treatment that actually works. I arrived to Granddad's funeral 3 weeks later with guardianship papers tucked in my purse. But as the last hymn ended and the funeral director cleared his throat, everything changed. He announced that our grandfather had left specific instructions for this moment. Suddenly, the screen behind the casket came to life, and there was a recording of Grandpa, propped up in his hospital bed and staring directly at the camera. If my daughter Evelyn is perking up right now thinking this is about trust distributions, he said, and Mom's eager face shifted to confusion, then everything is going according to plan. What none of you know, Grandpa continued, is that I've been recording every conversation in my hospital room for the last 6 months, because I needed evidence. Mom started to stand. This is ridiculous. Evelyn, sit down. Yes, you. I know you're standing right now about to claim I was senile. She froze mid-stand, then slowly sank back down. You told my granddaughter your cancer returned. Stage 4, right? Experimental treatment that costs exactly what the trust pays annually? Creative math. Mom was frantically scrolling through her phone while Dad tried to grab it to see the documents himself. Wesley, are you still claiming you're losing the house? Dad spun toward the screen. The house I paid off in 2008? The remortgage that went straight to Prairie Casino? I have the withdrawal records, Wesley. $400,000 in 18 months. Terrible blackjack player, by the way. Annika jumped up, already crying. He was clearly mentally compromised. Annika, right on schedule. Let me guess. You're about to cry about your infertility? He chuckled to himself. Your abortion was 14 months ago. $3,200 on my credit card. Annika screamed. That's a vicious lie. Also, you're not infertile. You're on birth control. The pills are in your medicine cabinet behind the vitamins. The funeral home erupted. Now, Grandpa's voice continued calmly. My granddaughter, if you're holding guardianship papers right now, and I know you are because you always want the best for everyone, read page 4, subsection C out loud. My hands trembled as I flipped through the pages. Permanent and irreversible transfer of parental rights. The guardianship was never meant to be permanent. Your mother's friend drafted those. Stand up, Joe. A man in the 5th row reluctantly stood, face bright red. Mom was shrieking. Turn this off. He's destroying our family. Evelyn, you're about to say I was always manipulative. 3, 2, 1. He was always manipulative, she screamed. Too predictable. Oh, and sweetheart, his voice softened, addressing me. Check under that pregnancy book I gave you. There was a USB, and in seconds, a recording of my mother's voice filled the funeral home. When Dad dies, let's tell OP the cancer's back. She always caves when I cry. And here's the kicker. Grandpa's video continued over the chaos. The trust can only be accessed by biological parents. Guardianship changes nothing. You exposed yourselves for money you could never touch. The funeral home turned into a battlefield. Family members screaming, Mom lunging for the screen, the funeral director calling security. I stood there ripping those guardianship papers into pieces. One more thing, Grandpa's voice echoed for the last time. About the trust money, I already put it in a locked account for the baby. Accessible only at 18, to the child directly. Oh, and Evelyn, if you're still watching this, your parking meter ran out 20 minutes ago. He kept going, and what he said next made my face drain of color. My mother's face went from angry to terrified. Turn it off, she screamed. She doesn't need to know. And after I found out, I was ready to destroy them in the same way they destroyed me, but worse. Full story on channel, link below.